Okay, so now we have Elmo looking like he's a part of the image, to an extent anyway. Now we're going to add some extras. Like for instance, how about a beautiful rainbow in the background? So I'm going to go over here and do a search. Rainbow. Wow. Literally gave me a rainbow of colors. There we go. Okay. Find one I want to use. I think I'm going to go with this one right here. PNG, even better. Notice this file type, a PNG image, means see how the background is the checkerboard, the gray, and the white? That means there actually is no background. So unlike with the Elmo picture where I had to go in and erase the background, this one I won't have to do that because the background's already missing. So I'm going to save this one. And again, save it to my H drive, rainbow. Again, make sure it's on the H drive. And you see it says right there, PNG file. So that's how I know it's not going to have a background. So I go in here, layer, open image as layer, select that rainbow, open. There it is. It's way too big. All right, I'm going to edit and free transform this. And just like last time, I'm going to hold the shift key as I change the size. However, this one, I'm going to warp a little bit because I want my rainbow to go all the way across back here. And I guess I want it to end kind of on the, yeah, I'm going to want the horizon there to be the bottom. Okay, so now I'm left with the problem here of the rainbow is covering Elmo and part of the dolphin. Well, Elmo's its own layer. So I can solve that by taking that layer and just dragging it in the back, but it still doesn't look quite like it's part of the picture. Well, besides because it's cartoony and Elmo and the dolphins are not, but also doesn't quite look like part of the picture because it is covering the dolphin's fins. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this layer and let me see, I believe it's this one. Click here. Yes, and we're going to change the opacity. So how see-through it is. Right now it's 100% opaque. We're going to turn that down, and now, as you can see, I can see a little bit of the dolphin's fins here. And so what this is going to allow me to do, again, I'm going to hit Alt and zoom in here with the mouse, and then I'm going to take my eraser tool and, oops, I went too far. So Control Z is very useful button combination to remember, so it undoes any mistakes that you do, because if you catch it right away, you can just get rid of it. And so from here, I can make the dolphin's fin appear. Same thing with the other side. Oops. Zoom in here a little bit more. Change my, there we go. All right, not perfect. Could spend a little more time to make it a little better, but now I have that done. I can turn the opacity back up, and there we have, it looks like the rainbow is in the distance. In fact, it's not quite on the horizon there, so I might want to move it down, but then of course I'm going to have to mess with the dolphin's fins again a little bit. So anyway, I can adjust that. And then I could add extras in here. For instance, let's go with SpongeBob SquarePants. Patrick, that's his name. Okay, here we go. Here is a, woo. Let's go with Patrick. I like the look at that where he's shocked. So I like this one. Let me see if I can find it. Patrick. Shocked. There we go. All right. Take this one. So I'm going to use this one. All right. I'm just going to copy the image address this time because I can open this up in a similar way. So this time, instead of going to layer, open image as layer, I'm going to go to open image URL as layer, and then I'm going to paste in that URL right here of the image, and then it loads that way too. So I can take this, move it down, change the size of it a little bit. And then there we go. All right. But again, I got to get rid of that background, so I'm going to use my magic wand here. Grab, erase, Control D. And obviously he wouldn't be sitting in water, but I can maybe make it look like he is wading or floating in the water with his head sticking out. So I'm going to use my eraser again. And here we go. I can be a little more carefree with how careful I am, because actually there's waves, and waves aren't that even. So there we go. Now he's poking his head up, watching Elmo riding the dolphins, and he's amazed. So there we go. You have it, and the only thing left to do is to save our image. So File, Save. Now, a couple things I want to keep in mind. If well, first of all, make sure I give it a name. Elmo on dolphin. Okay. And two is the format. I have multiple formats here: JPEG, PNG, bitmap, TIFF, and PXD. Usually the ones you're going to worry about are JPEG, PXD, maybe occasionally a PNG. For instance, if you have let's say you wanted to do this with a friend and you spent the time carefully erasing and removing him from the background, him or her from the background, and you wanted to save them as a PNG so you could use them in multiple pictures, then you'd want to save it as a PNG. Okay, but for this one, this is my final product, so I'm going to save it as a JPEG. Now, if you want to go back and you want to add more stuff later, then you want to save yours as a PXD. This is a file that only Pixlr recognizes. And when you bring it back in, it's going to keep all these layers. So I have layer 1, 2, and 3, and the background layer, all those are there. So whenever I save it as a PXD, it's going to keep that. I can open it back up. I can keep editing it. If I save it as a PNG, it's going to turn it all in, I'm sorry, a JPEG or a PNG for that matter. But a JPEG, it's going to compress it all. It's all going to be in one layer, it's going to be one image. So I'm going to save this as a JPEG because I'm finished with it. I'm going to turn up my quality to 100. I want 100% quality. It's not going to be that big of an image, that big of a file. And I'm going to click OK. And then once again, make sure it's going to the H drive. Make sure it has the name I want. I see that I'm saving it as a JPEG. Save. And then when I go in here, File Explorer, PC, H drive, there it is, Elmo on a dolphin. Boom, there's my creation. Now I can do what I want with it. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial.